Guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. I'm back at Into Moto, and today I'm taking out one of my favourite 125cc motorbikes. It is of course the Suzuki 125. It's the van, and I really do like these bikes. So let's just get started. First things first, as a 125, these things, they are massive. They are, well, I say massive. Comparing to 125s, they are quite a big bike. They are. They've got big old chunky wide tyres. They're quite a long bike. They have got quite a big presence. However, only 120 kilograms. That's the dry weight. So, you know, add a bit more for the liquids and stuff, but 120 kilograms. So it should be really easy to move. Let's find out. And it is. It's really easy. It doesn't feel heavy taking it off the side stand. It doesn't feel cumbersome. It actually feels really easy to move it from that direction to that direction. Simple. So let's have a look all the way around this bike. Do like it in the blue. You can see this is a 2016 bike on a 66 plate. So it is 9 years old. But that's what you're going to get with these bikes now. They don't make them anymore. And I do think that they are starting to go up in value. You can see it online when you're having a look at them online. Yeah, the prices do seem to be creeping up with these. Now, speaking of price, this bike's currently up for sale for £3,499. Now, if you were to do a search on Auto Trader, I would say this bike is the best example of a Suzuki van that you're going to see online. And I've done the check myself. I've had a look online. There is about 13 Suzuki vans showing, and none of them are as good as this bike. And there's a few reasons for it. We'll start with the first one. First thing, this bike was registered in the second half of 2016. So it's around like the time that these bikes stopped being made. So this is going to be as new a bike as you're ever going to find for the Suzuki vans. Now this is the big one. This bike, as I've said, 9 years old, has got 617 miles on the clock. That is all. This bike has just had one service, and that is it. That is phenomenal. It's like buying a brand new bike, but somebody's done the running miles for you, so that for me is a bonus. Looking at the engine, looking at just about everything on here that you would expect to have some sort of mark, corrosion, anything like that, there's none of it. It is just it's just a beautiful example of the bike. It's what you would expect from a brand new bike in a showroom, and it's not a brand new bike. Remembering that this bike is nearly 10 years old, and yet it looks this good. Side stand, there is no center stand with this, and you can always tell the age. Currently, modern bikes, pretty much all of them come with clear lenses, and they might have orange bulbs or orange LEDs. This is back to old school, just a big old orange lens for your indicators. And the same goes on the back as well. And look at the girth on that back tyre. Now I know there are people that take these off-roading. I think it was Lavi and Ollie that got a pair of these and started doing the TET on them. So yeah, they are some quite extreme roads for this type of bike, but they did it. The fuel tank on this is only 7.5 litres, so that is maybe like a big scooter, but as far as motorcycles go, that's a very small tank. The only thing to note is that they are very good on economy, so yeah, you'll still get a fair distance with that, but it's just a bit small, isn't it? But I think it's just part of the look. It wouldn't look quite right with a massive tank, I don't think. It does have a chain drive. It does come with the knuckle guards. Looking at these are really like hard knuckle guards. A lot of the newer ones I've found, they're quite flimsy plastic and a bit cheap looking. These feel proper solid. So as well as saving you from that wind chill when you've got your hands on the bars, they're also going to protect those levers should you drop it, because as I've said, there are people that take these bikes off-road. Their seat is very long as well, so you've got loads of room to maneuver should you need to shuffle back on the seat. You've got like a long bench seat there, which is pretty good. It does have lots of room as well for someone to go on the back should they want to go on the back. As far as your grab handles go, there is a little bit down here that they could grab onto, but it is quite low down, but they have something. And there is some rear pegs, and you can see just by looking at these have definitely never been used. There is no foot ever gone on those. They just look brand new. Old school dial. In fact, now I'm going to have to check this. I'm telling you it's got 617 miles. However, that is showing as kilometers. So that may well be kilometers. I'll have to check that out, because if it is, that means it's even less miles than I thought. And then you've got your indicator light, your neutral, and you have got a fuel light, because you will see there is no fuel gauge. Proper old school. You've got your horn indicators, high and low beam, and your hazards. There is no flash or anything on this side. On the right hand side, you've got your engine start and engine cutoff, and that's it. So as I've already said, this bike has a 125cc engine. Now that 125 engine delivers 12 horsepower, 9.5 newton meters of torque at 8,600 RPM. The engine is a single cylinder 4-stroke, and it is air cooled as well. So apparently this has got a top speed of 60 miles an hour. So you know I've got to take it on a performance test. I want to see, can it get to 60 miles an hour? And not just that, how long does it take? How does it compare to other bikes? Brakes on this, you have got a single disc at the front, which is 220 at the front actually, and it's got a 2-piston I'm gonna I can't even say mispronounce properly. And something you don't see on a lot of modern bikes, you've got a drum brake at the rear. Nice and easy to start up. As you'd expect, the bike is pretty much brand new. Let's have a listen. Let me detach my microphone. Hopefully this will give you an idea of what I can hear. Not bad. It sounds pretty good. Tell you what I'm going to do actually while I'm in this position. Seat height on this is 770 millimeters, so I'm going to throw my leg over and we'll see how I fit on it, being 5'8" with a 29-inch inseam. That's not too bad at all. As you can see with me, I am flat foot both sides. I've even got a bend in the knee, so anybody slightly smaller than me will have no problems at all flat foot in this bike, which is good if you're on the shorter side. So the pegs are, they're not, I would say they're forward ever so slightly. They're not quite central, but they're not in an uncomfortable position. The bars, yeah, I like that. They're raised slightly and they're brought towards me, so I've got a bend in the elbow. I'm not stretching for them. And my back is nice and up straight, which is all I can ask for a comfortable riding position anyway. That is certainly my preferred position. Not being bent over the tank makes it much easier for longer riding. yeah, feels nice and comfortable. Very easy to get on and off because of that lower seat height as well. Ta-da! So that's the walk round done. If there's anything else you need to know about the bike, I'll put a link in the description for Into Moto. So if it's anything specific for this exact bike, just contact the guys at Into Moto. They will be more than happy to help. As I've said, they're selling this bike. The only thing I would say is there are not many bikes of this type for sale currently in the UK, and certainly none of them as new as this with as few miles. So I can't see it being here very long. I really can't, because they are quite sought after, these bikes, and the prices just seem to be going up. So yeah, you will have to be quick. But anyway, that's the walk round done. Let me get all my kit together and I'm going to take it for a ride. Let's see how this bike performs on the streets around here, and also how we get on with a performance test. It says it'll do 60. I'm hoping it will do that quite comfortably, but let's go and find out. Stay with me. Don't know why I did that. Don't know. I'm getting all very handsy today. Let's just doing it again. Let's just go riding. Okay, so I've already moved it around, pushing it. Let's see how easy it is and what the turning circles like. So, I mean, it's always easier, I think, when you've flat footing both sides. It's easy. I know it's not really a tall person thing to worry about, but for us shorter people, it is a consideration when you're buying a bike. You can't go and buy a massive bike that you're struggling to touch the floor and then find it easy to turn it around. But anyway, the shorter bikes like this, easy to do. Not a problem with that whatsoever. Now, in the spirit of doing this, like, you know, it could be took off-road. Let's see, if I stand up. Yeah, I mean, you could stand up and do a bit of light off-roading. I don't know how I'd feel about doing some serious off-roading like Lavi and Ollie were doing on theirs, but for a little bit, yeah, it's fairly comfortable to stand up. I actually thought the bars would be too low, but no, it wasn't. I wasn't stretching for them. It was a decent position, actually. It's not really made for speed, but it's a 125, and anybody interested in buying a 125 is going to be interested to know just what sort of speed you're getting out of them. When you do use the indicator warning light at the front is really nice and bright, which is a good thing, because that should make you aware if you've left your indicator on, which a lot of people do. It's just a lovely bike to potter about on, like doing the speed that I'm doing now. You know, I'm doing like 30 miles an hour and it's just pleasant, you know. It's not a bike that screams at you to try and go faster, but the same goes, it's not a bike that you have to go slowly on either. It's just a bike that seems to be nice to ride at slow speeds. I'm noticing when I took the speed up there, got to about 40, the vibrations in the pegs started. Now it's not lots, but it's noticeable. It's like a little tickle at the bottom of your feet. So if you're not into, like, you know, a bit of a foot rub, you might find it a bit weird. I'm gonna pull over here. There is room to do it, even with the traffic, but I'm gonna get really close to the curb, and I'm not going to stay here for very long, because you can see cars can get past me, but I don't want to be in this position for too long. So I'm going to try on this road 60 mile an hour speed limit. I'm going to see how quickly it gets to 60 mile an hour, and if it can get to 60 mile an hour. So I'm waiting for a big enough gap, and now I'm going to give it the beans. I think that should do us. first gear doesn't seem to have very much in it at all. Seemed to get to about 15 and then yeah, it had nothing left. Now I do think the speedo may be out, because according to this now I am doing 70 mile an hour, and I am definitely not doing 70 mile an hour. Definitely not doing 70 mile an hour. I would say I'm probably doing something like 50 mile an hour or something now, because it's still pulling, and this bike has only got a top speed of 60 and it says I'm doing 80 mile an hour now. Yeah, I've got a sneaky suspicion that that's not working, especially when I got to 85. That's clearly, yeah, that's clearly not right. I really like this one to ride. It's lovely going through the gears. It's a lovely bike to ride. There's a little bit of vibrations as the speed goes up, but it's not a bad vibration. It's not an unbearable, uncomfortable kind of situation. It's either a slight tickle in the feet, or if it's not a slight tickle in the feet, there's a slight noticeable vibration in the hands, maybe even in the seat, but it is only slight. It's not something that would put me off buying this bike anyway. I wouldn't say it was an uncomfortable experience. It's actually a lovely bike to ride. It is. And as far as style goes, these things are just awesome. They just look the part for me. They look really, really nice. And I know, you know, we all like different things, don't we? I like cruisers. I like all different types and styles of bikes, but I look at these and just think they look completely different to other bikes that are on the road. I certainly wasn't doing close to 90 mile an hour like this speedo was trying to have me believe. But I don't know, it may well be that that's just set up in kilometers. I think that could be likely actually, because whilst it does say miles per hour on here, the top speed of 60 is around, I think it's about 97 kilometers, something like that, and this was getting to about 90 when I caught up with traffic. So I think it could well be that that is in kilometers still, and it just needs the dials changing. It could be something as simple as that. I think it may well be that, based on like that experience. 90 kilometers, I don't know, what is that going to be, like 55 miles per hour maybe, something like that. I don't know, I'd have to Google that. I'm no good with that sort of stuff, but that could well fit in with the experience that I just had. You can never tell which bikes are going to go up in value, but I do think with these bikes, and liking these bikes as I have over the years, I have noticed there has been an increase in price. They don't seem to be going down, they seem to be going up. I do think this is a very collectible bike. They don't make them anymore. Prices do seem to be going up and not down, and this bike is the best example of one of these I've seen since I seen one in a showroom when they were brand new. To have a bike like this, of this age, to look as good as this, if you're a collector or you're someone who just likes the older school, older looking bikes, this bike should be on your radar. If it's a bike that interests you, then I'll put a link in the description, but I certainly would be interested in this. That is going to do me. I'm back here, link in the description. Thank you for watching and putting up with my rambling. I will catch you on the next one, hopefully. Come back for more. For now, laters.
Oh yeah, he's a killer, that's right.